Hey everyone, it's Ange McCabe with Myrtle and Moss Photography. I am an award-winning wedding photographer. I'm also known for my couples work as well as my intimate maternity work. I am a Canon Canada ambassador and I'm very proud to call Vancouver Island my home. I did not go to school to be a photographer. I actually went to be a registered nurse and I worked labor and delivery for quite a few years. And after I had my first son is when I quit nursing and went full-time. So that was 9 years ago. I've been doing this for 16 years. And for the past probably about 8 of those years, I've also spent much of my time teaching in this industry. So I'm very excited to be talking about this topic today, all on editing workflow. My favorite thing to do is to teach people that there's nothing that I do that you cannot do or that you can't learn. And my second favorite thing to do is to teach people how to work smarter and not harder and to learn from my mistakes. So one thing about editing is I actually really enjoy the process. But when you are a wedding photographer or you're just a really busy photographer, it can be a daunting task to look at your to-do list and to actually sit down and start doing it. So I have tried many different ways of editing and processes, and I'm constantly trying to figure out how I can make my workflow more efficient. And so I have tried in-person editors as well as large companies online where you get kind of matched with an editor. And there was still always a lot of tweaking I had to do. It was very expensive and it just didn't work out for me. So I just kind of defaulted back to always doing it myself. So in the past couple of years, there's been quite a few AI programs come out to assist in the workflow and speeding up the editing process. And I've tried a lot of them. And the one thing that I found about most of the other ones is that you still had to do a lot of work ahead of time. You had to sit down, pick the photos and kind of set them as like anchor photos and then let the program run itself. And that still took a lot of time. And for me, what I found is when I really started looking at what is so stressful about the amount of work that we have to do, and I realized that a lot of it is actually just getting into a headspace and sitting down and doing the task on hand. So those other AI programs that I used didn't really help with that because I still had to do so much work. It might help a little bit in the actual editing, but I still had to sit down and do a lot of work before I could even run the program. So now with Imagen, all I have to do is after I've called the wedding or the session is I just upload the catalog, wait a few minutes, and then voila, it does its thing. Now with this program, you have to create your own profile. So that does take some time. And what the program does is it learns your style of editing and it gets better over time. So if you found that maybe you're having to do a lot of tweaks, just keep on re-uploading. And maybe even try opening or starting a new profile. If you find that there's like totally different looks that you're going for, it's going to be really hard for that program to understand what it is that you're going to be happy with. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a family session that I did. It's actually a really special one, and I want to quickly share with you the story behind it. So I was actually just finishing up a session with my clients. I was packing up my gear into my car and the sun had already gone down. And beside me was someone else packing up their gear as well. And she looked like she just had her photos taken and she was getting her daughter into her car seat and her husband was there. And I could tell she was a photographer. I could tell she was a photographer doing her own family self-portraits. So I went up to her and she happened to know who I was. And I offered to do a quick little family session for her. So for me, my sessions are normally quite long, usually about like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And because the sun had already gone down, we definitely had some limited time and it was kind of refreshing to actually just do a 20-minute session. All right, so I've gone ahead and culled this session down. I am going to walk you through the session though a little bit just so you can see the type of storytelling that I'm able to capture in, a quick 20-minute session. Obviously, if it was a longer session, I could spend more time perfecting everything, but this was just like a nice little fun, unexpected shoot. And I'm actually really happy with what we got. So I was shooting on 2 different cameras. I was able to capture some of the full family, some of just mom with her baby, some with just dad and baby, some individuals of their little girl, as well as some mom and dad photos, which is always super important for me when I am shooting families to make sure we spend some time with the couple alone, just kind of bring them back to where it all started, So I'll quickly go through these with you. But one thing that I'm very excited to hear is that Imagen is releasing their very own AI culling, which I'm so stoked for. If you've been following along for quite some time, you'll know that that is my biggest pain point. I am the worst person at culling. I think it's because I'm really emotionally attached to my photos. But just remember, more isn't always better. And if you're able to cull down your photos to a reasonable number, that's the very first thing you can do to speed up your workflow. So they're currently in beta mode, which I'm about to test out as well. And I'm really excited for that. So stay tuned for Imagen to be releasing that. Let's quickly go through this session though. I'll just speed through. These are all raw. These are unedited. Don't mind my crooked horizons. We will fix those with Imagen. But you can see that we getting down low. I'm using a couple different lenses as well. 35 and 85 are my go-tos. With family sessions, you got to kind of be open-minded because you really have no control over little ones. You might get them on a good day. You might get them on a crazy day. So I was really happy. You can see here there's just some highlight clipping, which is totally fine. Getting them moving around lots of play. I always like to capture my couples and my families engaging and interacting naturally. So that's always, no matter who I'm photographing, that is my number one thing that I'm trying to capture is their authentic connection. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and culled this, I'm going to go and open it into Lightroom. All right, so I've opened up Lightroom. I'm just going to go into my library module. I'm going to go ahead and add my folder that we've just created here, which is Leah. There we go. They're just going to import here, and I'm just going to select Build Smart Previews and then click Import. All right, so once you're in your library module, you want to go ahead and click File, Export as Catalog, and just make sure you put it where you want it to be saved. So I'm just going to put it right in with my family session. There we go. And I'm just going to call it Leah Family Session. There we go. And then the only thing you want to have selected is the build/include smart previews, and then hit save. Now it's going to take a little bit just to create that catalog, and then we're going to open up Imagen and I'm going to show you what to do next. So this is Imagen. Here you can see my AI profiles. Evoke is the only one that I use. And then you can see I have a couple active projects that I haven't uploaded the final edits yet. And so it's really important to re-upload your final edits once you've done any tweaking, just to further enhance the program and to make it learn your style and the tweaks that you want even more. So it's really important to not miss that step. All right, then I'm going to go to projects and I want to create a new project. So then I'm going to browse for my catalog. There we go. And we're just going to open this up. And then we want to go ahead and click our Lightroom Smart Catalog file, which is right there. And just click open. Okay, so I'm going to select the folder, which has the images. You can see there's 105 photos, which is accurate to what we're doing. We need to name the project. Let's go Leah Family Session. I'm going to use my Evoke preset AI profile that I've created. I'm going to just hit straighten, but not necessarily crop. So you can select whatever one you want. And I just leave all of these in case I accidentally rated some of them throughout. Yeah, so I know that I want the 105 photos selected, so I just leave everything as is and straighten, and then we click add. All right, so now that we have our session selected, we can double check here and make sure there's 105 photos. We can see the advanced options that we want, and then we're gonna just go down here and click upload. So this can take a few minutes. For obviously a bigger project, it's going to take a lot longer, but we're still talking within like a few minutes. So here, this project is only 105 photos, so it's only a minute. It will send you an email when it's ready to be downloaded. I'll go ahead and speed this up, and then we'll open up the file in Lightroom. All right, so now that it is finished uploading, we just go ahead and click close. And then you can see here it's just processing, so we'll give that another minute. And then there will be a little button here that we can just press and it will open into Lightroom. And actually, while we're waiting, I might as well go ahead and upload my final edits of my last wedding that I edited. So let's go ahead and do that. I need to close my catalog, so let's go ahead and close. And then we will try again there. Perfect. We're gonna upload our final edits. And we're just teaching the program how to be smarter, because we want it to work smarter, not harder too, right? There we go. So now we have uploaded that wedding, and that's it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and see, we can see that Leah's family session is now ready to go. So let's go download and review. And we can see 105 photos. We're going to download edits. And it just says downloading the edits will overwrite any previous edit of the photos submitted for editing. Perfect. That's fine. That's what we want. We haven't edited yet, so let's let her do its thing. And then we just click open Lightroom catalog. and then we watch the magic happen. And this is fun. This is the fun part. Let's see how it does. Okay. Just let it do its thing here for a minute. All right, so now that they're loaded into Lightroom, we're just in the library module here. Let's go to the develop tab to see how it did. I can already tell just from like looking quickly at the library module, like I'm pretty freaking happy here. This is pretty good. Like really good. This is amazing. Okay. Obviously one thing to make a note here is that the lighting is pretty consistent throughout the session, so it is a little bit easier for the program to do what it needs to do. For a wedding, you know, you have obviously varying lighting and, you know, indoor, outdoor, that sort of thing. But for a project like this is like crazy fast. This is like I don't even know if I need to do many tweaks here, to be honest. I'm going to speed this up, but I'm going to just show you how it did here. So you can see it did straighten the images as well. I'll probably have to go through here and crop them a little bit more as well. Like this one, I maybe make a little bit more magenta, bring down my exposure just a little bit. And then also I'm going to do a little bit of brushing on here. So I'm going to use my, I'm just going to start with a fresh brush. I'm just going to brush on there and there, bump up shadows a little bit, exposure. There we go. So I'm going to go through and just do some brushing and some cropping where it's needed. But overall, you can see how fast this program is. Once you train the AI how you like your photos, then it can just save you so much more time. With this one, I'm going to go a little more magenta, a little bit warmer, a little more contrast. There we go. Okay. This is good. Just going to go ahead and just sync those two. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go through here and do any cropping that we need to. This is good. Oh, she's so cute. I'm going to go and do some cropping as well as doing some brushing just on the faces, especially the parts that were in shadow. And then I'll show you how we finish this off. All right, so there we go. We have edited over 100 photos in about 20 minutes or so. If I wasn't using Imagen, it probably would have taken me at least hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to do that. It did get rid of the bulk of the editing for me. The only tweaks that I did were mostly just with like white balance, a little bit of contrast, and some cropping here and there. And then of course using some brushes just to touch up where I needed to. But this program has honestly been a game changer for me. It has saved me so much time. Honestly, I love this program and I hope that you do too. If you want to go ahead and try Imagen for yourself, I do have a code for you listed in the description below. And what that's going to get you is a 1,500 free edits, which is 500 more than you would normally get if you didn't use my code. Now there's something else that I'm very excited to share with you that I'm officially allowed to say, and that is in the near future, you're going to be able to purchase my AI profile so you don't have to do the work. If you're already using my presets or you like the look of my work, I've gone ahead, I've done all the work for you, and all you need to do is just purchase it. It gets loaded into the back end of your Imagen program, and you can get started editing right away. So stay tuned on my socials. I will be certain to tell you as soon as that is available. If you want to stay connected after this, I would absolutely love for you to be in my education group on Facebook called Stay Inspired with Ange McCabe. You can also find the link below. And if you want to stay connected on Instagram, you can find me at Myrtle and Moss Photography. That is where I post all of my recent work as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed today. I hope that you're able to find a system that works for you for your editing. And if Imagen is part of that process and helps save you some time, I am so stoked for you. My only regret is that I didn't start sooner. I'm kind of a dinosaur. It takes a lot for me to want to change things up. I honestly had no idea what I was missing out on. So thank you so much again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, friends.